Hey everybody, I'm Ashley Cash. I am a 3-year Dubsado user. I'm a career coach and resume writer, and I use Dubsado every single day, both on my computer while I'm sitting here at my desk, but also on my phone. And so today I'm going to walk you through how I use Dubsado as a coach and also for resume writing. And also, of course, want to share how if you too would like to become a Dubsado user, which I recommend, you can use my affiliate code. It's Ashley Cash, just like you see on the screen here, to get 20% off. And I know there's a sale going on right now, so definitely want to layer a coupon code, Ashley Cash, or affiliate code rather, on top of those savings. So that said, we're going to get this party started. Now, I am not going to talk you to death. What I am going to do is I'm going to show you how I use Dubsado as, and as you can kind of see on the screen here, as a six-figure resume writer, career coach, and interview preparation coach. So basically, what that means, I think an easy way to say that is I help people get hired and get paid. And I've been in business for about 5 years. I primarily work with high impact, high income professionals. And I write them resumes that gets them interviews, and I show them how to really show up and shine on paper. So that's a little bit about me. I have a different haircut now than I do in the picture. You know, being home for a year, you just start getting crazy. So that's a little bit about me. I think I already mentioned that I've been using Dubsado for about 3 years, and it truly has been a game changer for me for a couple of reasons. And then we'll sort of get into what you're here for, which is actually seeing how I use Dubsado as a coach. But one of the reasons that Dubsado has been such a game changer for me, both in business, but also for my sanity, is because I am a coach. And while I do have a team now, when I started out, it was just me. And so if you know anything about being a solopreneur or a one-man show, that means you are delivering the services, your customer service, your tech support, you're doing the marketing. I mean, any and everything, right? All things business, it's on you. And so as I was trying to build and grow my business, I mean, there are just so many different things and so many hours spent, replying to emails or, having a consult call and then typing up sort of the terms and proposals. And, none of it was sort of all in one place, or maybe one person had agreed to work with me, but they hadn't paid their invoice yet. And so trying to follow up with them, trying to use an Excel spreadsheet to keep up with who needs what and what due dates are here, right? It was just sort of all over the place. And even though I felt like I was relatively organized and kind of had a pretty good memory, that was no way to run a business, right? That was like burning me out and making me almost resentful of the business, because I'm like, I can't just focus on the thing that I'm good at, which is getting people hired and paid. I am having to do all this stuff. And so at first somebody was like, well, hire, an admin. And I did. And the person that I hired actually recommended Dubsado because it would allow me to put in place repeatable, scalable processes that really started to starve off that burnout. I was doing less administrative work. The work that I had my assistant doing became a little bit less administrative and more of strategic, if that makes sense. So instead of her having to reply to emails, I could pay her to pitch me to certain conferences and things like that. So all of the money making activities, Dubsado really kind of helped lay a foundation for me to be able to do that. I mean, again, right, you could pay somebody to monitor your inbox or reply to certain clients or whatever, or you can make an investment in a tool like Dubsado. And even if you are going to have an assistant or a VA, you can pay them to do tasks that actually make you money. So that's sort of my pitch for Dubsado and how I use it. What I'm going to do today is walk you through sort of two distinct ways that I use Dubsado. The first one being what I call my lead magnet. Basically, that is basically sort of that free or complimentary offer, the way that someone can sort of get a taste or sneak peek of what it's like to work with me without having to pay for it. You know, there's no obligation there. That process is automated. So that is the way that I get leads into my company. And then the second way that I'm going to show you that I use Dubsado is how I make money in my sleep, right? And so I bet your ears perked up just then when I said money when I sleep, but I'm actually able to sell services, right? And I want to make sure you hear me there. A service, meaning I deliver the service. So it's not like, you know, an e-course or something like that. This is a service that is available that I am going to facilitate, but Dubsado makes it possible for me to sell that service while I'm sleeping. So no consult call, no follow-up with the client. Literally a client can purchase a service with me, including getting all the way to getting on my calendar to actually execute what they paid for using Dubsado. So I'm going to walk you through all that. In case you're wondering, or you're sitting here, or you've been watching other webinars and you're thinking, you know, I'm not very techy, I'm intimidated by tech or whatever. Me either. Okay, listen, I am not techy at all. So I would say that if I can do it, you can do it. It does probably seem like kind of a lot at first. And the other thing is that you might look at, you know, what I'm about to show you or other people's processes and think, oh, wow, you know, I really want that. My journey throughout Dubsado has been iterative, right? So we started with, hey, what are just the emails that I send over and over, right? So one of them is like, hey, Ashley, how do I work with you? Or how much is a resume writing service? So we started with just the emails like that. Like we just started being able to automate those. And then we built out processes as we went along. So if your hesitation about this product is the tech or, you know, having this long built out thing that I'm going to show you, don't. You can literally start A to B, B to C, C to D, and so on. So that said, I think I've done enough sort of intro, and let's just go ahead and get started. So the first thing that I want to share with you, and I mentioned that I would do that, is my lead magnet. So I offer clients, so I'm trying to type here. I offer clients the opportunity, like I said, to kind of get a taste of working with me at no cost. And again, that's the way that I generate leads. And so a client can actually go over, so the service, it's a free resume review, right? So I offer those 365 days a year. And so a client can actually, and I have it set up through Dubsado. So I just typed in, I don't know if you saw that, I just typed in a bit.ly link that I have set up just to make it easy. So it's bit.ly Ashley review my resume. So if I'm on, you know, a webinar, LinkedIn, wherever, I can just say, yeah, bit.ly Ashley review my resume. So a client can come to that site. Hopefully the internet's working for me today. And that's just a vanity URL. So it actually will take the client to a Dubsado form or proposal rather, that I have gotten set up. For now, don't worry too much about, you'll hear terms like form, proposal. If all of that's kind of going over your head already, don't worry about it. It'll be very apparent here in just a sec. But I just want to like call out here, you see in that tab right there, we're actually in sort of a section of Dubsado. The client doesn't know that, they don't care, they don't need to know that. All they need to know is this is where they sign up for their free resume review. But I'm telling you who's watching this that this is actually a proposal within Dubsado. But you can see here that I have all my branding that I have added here for my specific use of this. And then all this text that you see, the emojis, all of that, the way this is set up, It's completely customizable. In fact, this is like the third iteration of how I have had this set up. But this is the one that I've landed on that I like the best. So let me scroll down just a little bit. So basically what happens is the client comes here, they enter in their information, and they answer a few quick questions for me. All these drop downs I've actually set up again in advance, and all of these fields actually get stored with the client's name. So that's the cool thing about Dubsado is I've now not only captured someone's name and email address, which, as a side note, I don't want to go down too far a rabbit hole. When someone signs up for their free resume review, I am actually able to get this information. There's some integrations that I have set up that will actually send this information over to my email management system. So if you're someone who has like an email list, I use MailChimp, but Constant Contact or all those other service providers out there, there are integrations that can basically take this information and send it directly to your email list. So even though this form has nothing about, sign up for an email list or something like that, I'm able to do that within this form and within Dubsado. So that right there is just one integration that's helped automate and streamline my processes. So the next time I send out like a newsletter, this person would obviously receive it because of that integration. So I also am gathering some other information that's going to remain with this client. The client uploads their resume. And again, this is built out using Dubsado, and literally it's drag and drop. Again, your girl is not techie, okay? It's literally like, do you want a file uploader? Yes. And you just drag it and drop it where you want it. It is so simple. And then all the client has to do is click submit. And then I get an email telling me that someone has submitted a resume review. So it is so simple. Now let me show you what that looks like sort of on the back end, right? So now let me kind of peel the curtain back. So you saw what the form looks like for the client, right? This is what the client sees, clean, easy, a couple quick fields, and they are on their way to a complimentary resume review. All right, so let me now show you what it looks like in Dubsado. So now this is me showing you kind of the nuts and bolts within my business. And so what you're seeing on the screen is a workflow. And so I have several workflows set up for different processes within my business. This particular workflow is called feedback and fixes because I'm providing resume feedback and fixes to the client. I can name this anything I want, or if I wanted to change that, I could. So what's really cool about this, if you look at this list of actions for this workflow, it may seem kind of like a lot, but just think of it this way. Every action that I have listed in this workflow is an action that I nor my assistant have to do, okay? So like Dubsado was the assistant you never had. So the first thing, and I'm going to just walk you through each step, and then I'll even show you like what it looks like. So again, this is my view of Dubsado. So the first thing that happens is once someone submits this form, they click that submit button, Dubsado is going to send an email on my behalf that says, we're reviewing your resume, right? So you start thinking about that customer's experience, or you start thinking about anytime you submit a form on any website, you get an email that says we got it, right? So I'm able to tell Dubsado, send this email as soon as that form is submitted. And this is actually a canned email. So every single person that submits their form for a resume review is going to get this email. So it's consistent every single time. And what I love about Dubsado is you don't lose that personalization factor. So the client, the example I just showed, the client's name was Ashley, like mine. And so this email is going to be personalized, and it's going to say, hey, Ashley, I got your resume. Here's some information about me. Here's some, email content that I created, but this is all customizable. So this is the email or confirmation email that my client is going to get. Dubsado even has some features where as I get new clients, I'd like to tag them to just know the source or where this person came from or the service that they're interested in. And that helps me as a business owner sort of segment or target certain customers for certain things. And so I know that that person has requested a resume review in 2021. It could also be, let's say next year, if they get another one, right? It just helps me sort of collect data or insight about the people who are requesting my services. So the next step is a day after someone submits their form for a resume review, I have an automated email set up. So just the next day, right? And I can modify this or change this however I'd like to say, hey, I'm almost done, right? So again, we're thinking a little bit about the customer's experience. You know, we told them we're reviewing their resume. Now we want to let them know that, hey, we're actually doing it. We're almost done. And I set this time frame based on our internal workflow. So I know that it only takes us a day or two to review a resume. So I feel confident that I can send this email and be telling the truth. So again, you've got some fields in here that are personalized. This is custom content that I just typed up. I mean, literally, I copy pasted this out of MailChimp from another email campaign that I'd sent out. I've got the ability to link here. So you have the ability to, do formatting, tables, links, colors, buttons, which is a favorite. For this particular workflow, I don't use buttons, but it is something that comes in super handy. So now you can start to see, right? Like this is what the actual process looks like. And yet Dubsado is really doing all the work for me. Well, now we're at the point where me or the team, we reviewed the resume and we're actually now ready to send the client his or her feedback. Now, what's interesting about this is, remember I told you, I know it takes us about 2 days or so, but I have a little fail safe. So I have it set up to where 2 days after the person has submitted their resume for review, I have an email that's automated to go, but I actually have it set up to where it needs approval before it's sent. And that's just to make sure that in the event we're running late or we want to personalize this email, which we do for every client, I can go in and make any modifications that I need to so that the client is still getting a consistent experience. And Dubsado reminds me like, hey, make sure you send the client their resume feedback and fixes. So that allows me to do that. I even have some project status updates, and then the workflow continues to interact with the client even after I've submitted or sent over their resume feedback and fixes. So 3 days after I send over the resume feedback, the client gets another email from me or from Dubsado, but from me that asks them a little bit about what they thought, but also asks them, if they need more resources. And so within this email, I'm actually providing or offering some resources for them. 2 days after that, Dubsado sends another email on my behalf. And look, here's that button I was talking about. So, you can see here, these are links, but here's a button because I really want to draw the client's attention to this particular thing. And all of that is just done within Dubsado. If you want to insert a link, it asks you, would you prefer this to be a link or a button? So it's easy, right? Again, your girl is not technical, but it's super easy to do this thing. Then after that, or 7 days later, I'm sending a kind of a final email. And then after that, we archive it. So like my workflows or my queues aren't all jacked up or, all over the place. It makes it really, really easy for me to manage a funnel or a lead magnet consistently every single time. And it requires very minimal involvement from me or an assistant. I mean, literally 2 minutes, 3 minutes, maybe less. So that's the first one. And then the second one I want to show you, or the second thing I want to show you is at the end of this workflow, I actually invite my client, if or my potential client, if they've got questions, to grab some time on my calendar. So I use this link, and if they click on that, it actually takes them to a page. So like we're still within Dubsado, you can see it right there, um, to where they can actually schedule a time to talk to me. And it also allows them to answer some quick questions. Again, this is all a form that I just literally drug fields into, to get more information about them and sort of what they're looking for and how I can best serve them by the time we hop on a call. All of this, again, is powered through Dubsado, and it, comes directly to me. So the scheduler or the calendar is an asset that I love. Obviously, you go into Dubsado and you say for, a consult call, these are the times and dates I'm available. So there's no more like, are you available this time or whatever. I mean, literally, I can have consultation calls on my calendar when I wake up in the morning, or if I'm with my daughter after school or fixing her lunch or something like that. Things are happening within my business with zero intervention from me or my assistant. So Dubsado really is like the third assistant on the team. But it's a tool I love, and this integrates with my calendar on my phone. So when something's scheduled here, it's on my phone. There's a reminder already set up for it. Literally, I have to do nothing. And then when it's time for me to call the client on, the 22nd at noon, it's right there. I just make the call. So this is another thing that I absolutely love about it. And there are settings within Dubsado where you can send reminder emails to the client, very similar to how a tool like Acuity or Calendly works. So if you're paying for that service, I was using Acuity before this, and I canceled that subscription because I didn't need it anymore. And I liked that everything was sort of living in, sort of one ecosystem. So Dubsado is really the only tool I use in terms of scheduling. And now there's even Zoom integration, Zoom and I think some other, I forget, but some other video conferencing integrations. So like if you wanted this to be your Zoom room, it could be there, and that would actually kick out a link to your client too. So so many cool features. Just again, streamlined processes with no intervention from you, because I'm a busy mama, I'm a busy business owner. I need all of that automation I can get. All right, so then the last thing I want to show you is how I make money in my sleep, right? So it's a very similar sort of process as what I showed you before for the lead magnet. So what happens is if someone wants to purchase a resume service, I don't know if I have, I don't know that I have, oh, I can do it from my website. Sorry, I should have had that pulled up already. But let's say, 3:00 in the morning and somebody is contemplating their life decisions and they're ready to hire a resume writer and they want to hire me. They're, on my website or my Instagram or something. So they can actually go over to my website, select any of those services. So I kind of already showed you the resume review, right? So all this is all integrated up and through Dubsado. But let's say they want me to write their resume. So they can come here, they click start the rewrite. This might look a little bit familiar to you, but you'll see the header here. This is their resume and cover letter rewrite. They fill out some similar fields. They upload their document. They choose a package that's best for them. They can even select a split pay, right? All of this is happening. I'm in bed, like I'm snoring, right? I'm cuddling with my daughter. They select the job level and the package that works for them. I've even got a little add-on here that they can purchase. They submit this, and the next screen that they see is the agreement. It basically just outlines like the terms of service, the deliverables. And then the last thing is an invoice that they pay. And so this is what the client is seeing. They can purchase a resume service with no intervention from me. The website, my website has all the details for them. So any questions that they might have, they can learn those on the website. And then within the workflow, Dubsado says, okay, once somebody pays in full, send them the scheduler so that they can book their strategy call. So that's part of my process, that we do a strategy call. But Dubsado will send an email and say, kind of that welcome, hey, let's get started. We're going to do a strategy call. Here's the link to my calendar, right? So if you were a client, you would actually see this, illuminated with a link to the scheduler, like I showed you before, with all of my available dates and times. And you would choose that with no intervention from me. Dubsado will then activate the client portal so that the resume and cover letter that I write for the client has a home. So we're not emailing documents back and forth. I'll just upload their documents to that portal, and then I'll say, hey, log into your portal, access anything you need. This is a cool part. So after the contract is signed, it sends a copy of it to the client. And then this is probably my favorite part. So after someone purchases a resume writing service with me, Dubsado will actually create a to-do for my assistant. So it's literally an email that says, hey, go in and you need to go prep the assets for the resume writing process. So I'm now asleep. Remember, I'm asleep. I'm snuggling with my daughter. And Dubsado has now sent an email to my assistant to say, hey, these are some actions that you need to take in order for this process to continue. There's a couple other optional steps. So if someone had scheduled an add-on, purchased an add-on, I would approve that process here. This next step sends an email that lets the client know, hey, we're halfway there. Again, it's just about that experience to where I can let the client know that, like, yeah, you've paid all this money for a resume. We have spoken once, but I'm just checking in to just let them know, hey, still here. After I speak with them, I have a resume or an email sent out that tells me what I need to do 5 days from that. So basically, I need to email the client a first draft. So I have a reminder set up to do that. And then the last couple, actually, this one's a little bit longer. But again, don't be intimidated by that. Think about every step that it takes for you to service a client. Dubsado is doing all of this for me. So then I've got a process or a form where I send the client the resume that's ready to review, right? So all I'm doing is saying, hey, your resume is ready to review. I've already uploaded it into that portal so that they can go and check it out. And all Dubsado is doing is sending that email. All the links are already set up. I'm literally just hitting approve to send the email, right? And the reason that approve is there is because just in case I'm like running behind or something like that, I don't want Dubsado to send the client an email and they go and click the link and nothing is there, right? That's not a good experience. So that's why I have it set up to approve, just to make sure that I'm not like running behind. And then if I am running behind, whenever I'm done or whenever I'm ready, I would just hit approve and the email would go. Now, this is another part that I love. So at this point, if you're still with me, I have had a client go onto my website. They have made a purchase. They have scheduled an appointment. My assistant has been notified that there is action that she needs to take. My client has gotten a follow-up email, a check-in email from me that just says, hey, I'm just working on your stuff. I'm almost there. I have gotten a reminder that I need to complete the work and upload it. The client has gotten an email from me that says, hey, check out your first draft. They have also, I didn't show you this. So when the client gets their first draft from me, they actually get a form that they complete. And it's all sent through Dubsado. And so they can actually send me edits to their resume within the Dubsado tool. So it's all in one place. So if ever somebody's like, Ashley, you didn't do X, Y, or Z, it's like, well, I have the form that you completed all in one place. But then after we're done, the client can I'm then able to send the client a feedback form, where I ask them for feedback about their experience and also make an offer for them to send referrals my way. All of that is through Dubsado. But guess what? What if somebody gets busy, the client doesn't see it? I have then a process set up to where if this form is not completed 5 days after I send it again. And so there's even an email that is associated with that. You see the subject line says resending. So again, none of this is requiring my intervention. I can then archive the project. Dubsado does that for me. And then even 90 days after we're done, what happens is I'm going to send a check-in email that just says, hey, how are things going? Do you need anything else? And so again, the client is getting a consistent experience. I am delivering my service, but I, as a business owner, as the operator, as the head writer, I am literally spending my time focusing on super serving my clients and not sending emails, not scheduling appointments. My assistant is not scheduling appointments. She's helping me with things that help me to make money. And so, even the salary that I pay her, I get a high return on that investment because almost not everything, right? But most of the tasks that I have her do are money-making activities, right? There's an ROI to almost everything I have her do. And that's because I have a tool like Dubsado to help really zone in on the automation piece. I think that's it. I'm going to pop my affiliate code back up. I just want to thank you for taking the time of sitting through this, demo. There are so many awesome ways to leverage and use Dubsado. I love that it's customizable. I find it to be affordable for my business. It is a time saver. It is a way to cover your tracks, to create consistent client experience, to get leads, to make money when you sleep. I mean, literally, this thing does everything but my laundry. And so I am, really proud to use it. I'm happy that someone sort of put me on. And then the last and final thing that I'll say is, if the tech seems to be a barrier, I have to be completely honest with you about something. I'm not technical, and I actually hired a strategist to set it up for me. If you're in the Dubsado Facebook group, there are tons of people in that group who do Dubsado setup for a living. It is so worth the investment because it's done right. Typically, they'll map out all the workflows for you, and it's kind of a one and done thing. So, if you have the ability to make an investment not only in Dubsado, but the investment to have someone set it up for you, I advocate and recommend that, especially if you're a solopreneur and you want to spend your time sort of in your zone of genius. Every person that I've ever worked with, on the Dubsado team, or even the strategist that I hired to set it up, was outstanding. And I've had each year in business have been better and better in terms of revenue and number of clients because I have more time to focus on money-making activities and not scheduling appointments, if that makes sense. So hope that's helpful. Don't forget to use my affiliate code, Ashley Cash, no spaces. Have a great day.